Abortion is illegal in over a dozen different states. And as someone earlier was mentioning, women are overwhelmingly the victims of sexual violence and domestic abuse. So a matriarchy to me, that doesn't seem like a very well-designed matriarchy where women are victims or, lacking power in so many different realms of society on like a structural level.
I just do not think that women are lacking power on a structural level because they can't, which they can, by the way, abort their children. Is that like one of your components? Is that
there's many states where abortion is illegal? Do you dispute that?
I am going to dispute that having a child is somehow something that restricts women in any capacity. Like you're saying that.
What about the ability to...
Everybody yapping, so why I can't be yapping?
Fuck them all, huh?
Good, everybody. Welcome back to ShizzBeYappin, where everybody be yapping, so why I can't be yapping. Today, reacting to Candace Owens taking on 20 feminists in the Jubilee Surrounded. The debate is already going viral, but are these arguments built on facts, emotions, or straight up yapping? Let's hit this play button and just break it all down.
Claim is that we live under a matriarchy, not a patriarchy. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Princella, the Queen Maker.
I love that.
You say we live in a matriarchy.
Right.
Can you give me the definition of patriarchy?
Yes. Well, the patriarchy is the idea that the system, our system in America, is being run by men, and that women are having to exist under a system that immediately disadvantages them because men are behind it. And I disagree with that pointedly. I think actually we're living in a society where people are being very much influenced socially and politically by women.
Okay, so the denotative definition of patriarchy is father rule, and where positions of government are held majorly by men, where women are largely excluded. So 125 House of Representatives are female, and that's only about 25%.
Right.
And only about 28% make up Senate, and 3.3% of Congress up until this date have ever been women. So by denotative definition, we literally live in a patriarchy.
Yes, so I disagree with that. So I think what this gets to, which is actually an important part of the conversation, is that people always think that where there is disparity, there's somehow inequality, and I actually reject that entirely. I think it's just a difference in what we're interested in. I think we're biologically wired, we're interested in different careers, and just because if we looked in the fashion industry and said, oh, well, it's being dominated by women, it wouldn't mean that, okay, well, that means that the fashion industry is a matriarchy and men have no sense. It just means have no ability to communicate how they feel in the fashion industry. I literally think that those numbers show that we're just biologically different. So I actually think politically, women have shown that they have a lot more power than men have. And I'm talking about just in terms of political movements. The most recent I can think of is the Me Too movement, right? If a bunch of women get together and complain about a man and refer to the patriarchy and scream, generally speaking, let me know if you agree, the media will celebrate that. If a bunch of men got together...
She ain't lying. She ain't lying. But also, on a side note, like, a lot of movies out here are portraying women to be leaders, a lot of women as presidents, a lot of women as warriors. It's showing a lot of woman empowerment that's going on out here. So, I don't know what the girl not seeing or not seeing, whatever, but there's a lot going on out here that's pushing for women to have equality and be leaders.
Together and were shrieking and speaking about women, generally speaking, the media would call them all white supremacists and say that we had a misogyny problem and that things were really wrong in society. Women are allowed to be more vocal in general about problems than men are.
Well, let me speak to that. When we're talking about government and media, these are two different things. So, under the...
Not necessarily. The government kind of control the media. They the one that fixate and push all agendas. Like Pentagon. Pentagon is number one for pushing out all the movies. Look it up. Pentagon got mostly all number one movies, all Grammy nominated movies. If you look it up, like, I don't know what she's talking about.
Denotative definition of a patriarchy by the percentages that are occupied in the government, which is majority male, defines us as a patriarchy. Now, what it comes to for capitalism, for marketing purposes and control, for capital and revenue, that is a totally different conversation. But who's making the laws? I don't think that women are the ones voting to have their reproductive rights taken away, where you have rape, incest, and all of these things excluded to force women to be able to have. I don't think women in government would largely vote against their own interests because it's majority male, patriarchy.
Okay, I think love that point. Are women
They just saying because male is in power or in a position that it's, never mind.
allowed to vote?
Oh, of course they are.
Who's voting that patriarchy in then, out of curiosity?
No, I totally agree. And you want to know why? Because
Yes,
there
I
are
do.
so many women who think like you. You say you don't want to submit, but that's what you do to the patriarchy. You submit to the idea of men ruling everything.
You go that word submit. Any feminists, any strong black woman hate that word submit. That word submit is like, it's like calling a nigga a faggot or something. Like, disclaimer, and I ain't talking about no gays or nothing. It's just, a bundle of sticks that people just hate that word.
And your ideology is spread across a lot of women who also falsely believe to vote against their own interests just to complain about it in the end. Earlier you said that, women would be much more happier working at home, but don't you agree
I think women would be happier.
that it's human nature to want things that you don't have? So during the 1950s,
human
which is
nature.
something that you constantly bring up, it wasn't until 1994 that it was illegal to beat your wife.
And also kids too. Don't forget to mention that.
And under the Clinton administration. And so what we're dealing with is people wanting something, and then when they get it, they're not happy with it, and then they have to revoke that idea for something else. And so what you're saying is that women vote for these things because they have the same mentality as you.
Okay. So you're saying that you're acknowledging that women have the freedom to vote.
Yes.
And you're saying that women are still existing mentally, even with the freedom to vote.
Correct.
They are voting men in because we are still victims of.
No, I don't believe in victimhood. I believe in lack of education and lack of knowledge, because one of the things that you also
Do
say.
you think that it could just be that more men are running for positions of office?
No, not necessarily, because remember, the United States, the average reading comprehension of people in the United States is 6th grade. So we're not dealing with educated people. We're dealing with people who are motivated off of their feelings. And since we're motivated off of our feelings with a lack of education, people have the same mentality as you due to the lack of understanding of biology.
Okay.
Yes.
You just said that women,
Hold on. She just said, Danny, everybody in America reading on a 6th grade level. So if everybody reading off the 6th grade level, don't that means like the feminists too? Like the feminist people that you're riding for are on that same level of reading. So they uneducated too. So they listen to whoever is giving them information. They just feeding it and just riding with it. That's not making common sense at all. Like, why be a feminist? Like, when you could be married, taken care of by your man, and be happy, be at home, not working 80 hours a week. Like, let's keep going.
right?
Go ahead.
Women who freely have the right to choose and to vote, and who are very much exercising that right and that freedom to choose. And you're saying if the result of it is something that you disagree with, then
No.
it's still the fault of men.
What I am saying is that lack of education is the cause for what we see in the world. And if
If it's lack of education, it goes into your argument too. It goes both ways. So if you're saying lack of education in that way, it got to be lack of education in your way.
educate the women better, because a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And if she reading and comprehending at a 6th grade level and popping out a lot of kids, because the brokest people in the world pop out the most kids. So
So just educate the woman, not the kids. Like, not the boys either, because without the boys, you won't make more kids. So female are making kids now by themselves. So why not teach the kids? And the kids would make kids. The kids will grow up, be with a woman, make kids, you teach them. Like, that's how life goes on. Like, once you're a feminist, life stops. There's no reproduction going on. Like, that's the educational part too, that you're not discussing.
If we have those people voting, of course they're going to vote against their interests because they're voting for some utopian society that will never exist.
Okay, so that's why you think Kamala lost.
This ain't even about Kamala.
Because you're talking about women. No, but we had an opportunity.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had a male running and we had a female running. And we actually showed that Trump increased the amount of women who voted for him, right? So I'm asking you, do you believe that the reason that happened was because women became less educated during that time?
They've always been less educated. Oh, yes, they have always been less. Did you know that UNESCO says that that 2/3 of the 7.7 million illiterate adults is women? Illiterate. And we have 6th grade educated people.
That tells it all about the feminists. You just named down there the whole world of women, and you're mad at the woman that's educated, that's doing something for themselves, that's learning. Yo, you can't make this shit up.
You have to look at the mind of the people who actually have economic success and what they're voting for, because classism actually matters as well. So I'm sorry, but a lot of people vote based on their feelings and not based on policy.
Pause, guys.
Yes.
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you for the respectful conversation. Hi. How are you?
Great to meet you. I'm doing
Very
well.
nice to meet you.
So
Old ass
I view
up
this
there.
argument as a matter of fact, right? This is a descriptive claim about the culture, reality we live in, and patriarchy being a system in which men hold the predominance of power in both political, economic, and social methods of organization. So S&P 500.
Candace said earlier, why are these women not going up for these positions? But that's here or there.
500 companies, 90% of CEOs are men. Board members, 70% of CEOs are men. 70% of congressional members are men. Now, you may provide some sort of naturalistic argument to why that is, but what you're essentially arguing then is that there's a natural patriarchy, which I think feminists would all disagree with. We think that there's
Feminists, I think we agree on. Ain't you a guy? Don't you stand peeing up like standing up? What is we doing here?
a clear social pressure as to why this is. And part of the evidence for that is since feminism's arise within our public culture, we've now seen an explosion of women entering these fields, but we have a long way to go. But fundamentally, the claim regarding patriarchy or matriarchy, we are so much closer to where we were just a few decades ago or a couple generations ago where women couldn't hold a credit card than a system where men can't hold a credit card. We're still much closer to that.
Women always had them credit cards. I don't know what you're talking about. My grandma had the Strawberries, Clovia, JCPenney, Sears. We was out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Form of society.
Why would you say that we're closer to that? What do you mean by that? Did you just qualify that?
Because in terms of economic power, so for example, household wealth, women own 55 cents to every dollar a man owns.
Who controls household spending, though? So
household
you talk about how the money's made
Yes.
in America. How is it being spent? Who spends it?
So it's primarily spent by women, as you've noted, but then the money where the profit's being generated, it's being generated by men.
Would you rather be the people that are spending and deciding on what the money's being spent on, or would you rather be the person that's just working to earn that?
Well, CEOs and board members aren't working; they own the shares and they're making the profit.
Well, when you own profit is making.
You would much in a capitalist system, by definition, you would much rather be making the profit than spending.
I would much rather be spending your money than having to work for your money. Just so we are totally clear here, I would much rather spend your money.
You guys, 1,000 women out here. You want this $1 million to spend, or you want to go out here and make $1 million? Probably got some feminist women to be like, I'd rather work, but majority of them women, if behind closed doors, will spend that money.
I'm not talking.
And have to go out and earn your money.
Well, you're talking about wage laborers in terms of working, but in terms of
No, I'm
who
speaking
actually
about
owns
spending
the
power.
wealth.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well, sure. Okay.
But that matters. If
but-
85%
Sure.
of 85 cents of every dollar, how that's being spent, is being determined by women, that's power. That we can't say spending power is not power.
Why do you think that is the case? It's because women are often relegated to the role of doing grocery shopping, et cetera, because for millennia now, or from millennia up until now, women were unable to enter the workforce and have economic political
so
freedom.
let's get into the reasons, because you brought up something that men are the people that are at the top of these companies, these Fortune 500 companies.
Right. And political power.
You're absolutely right. Why is that?
It's primarily because the women haven't broken the ceiling quite yet in terms of meeting men in terms of parity with these sort of powers. But what we've seen with the explosion of feminism is that women have actually begun to enter these companies, have risen into both political and economic positions of power. But that continues to grow year by year, which shows that these social pressures are actually breaking apart as soon as feminism comes into play.
So what I
and we
would
start
say
teaching
is what
women
that shows you
different sorts
is
of
that,
values.
that women.
Oh boy, he said they're growing and basically they teach you this feminist movement got to stop, man.
Men have different interests. And I think this gets into what I was saying, that just because you see a disparity does not mean that it's not just a disparity in what our interests are. That's what's being represented. I don't know why there has been this idea that women should want to aspire to work 80 hours a week in order to be on par with men.
Do you think that interests are innate, or do you think that social?
Why would a woman want to work 80 hours a week, mess up their beauty, like have all that stress, hands got callous, just back be hurting, just up all night, 90 hours a week, then rather be at home, cook a meal, it takes like an hour, go shopping 2 hours, be home with the kids playing, just relaxing on Amazon, watching all the little shows on TV. Like, why would y'all want to work 90, 100 hours a week with men? Like, men barely want to do that thing, but we hold much responsibility that we have to take care of family and sacrifices. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, y'all could have it all good, stay at home, and just.
Are innate.
So why is it then that, for example, in the 1980s, only a quarter of college graduates were women, where now majority of college graduates are women? That shows that because of the way that social pressures have actually changed, women's interests are actually now changing too. A majority, I think, or at least half of law school graduates are now women. It used to be the case for example, a few hundred years ago, that a lot of primary philosophers like Immanuel Kant, Hegel, didn't even believe women could be reasonable. Now here you are today doing a debate with me where we're using logic and reason to get to these motives, and nobody here would dismiss the claim that you can't be rational or logical or be, for example, a great lawyer because you're a woman.
Right. So I totally agree with you that women, but I think they have actually entered into the workforce. I mean, entered into college under this external pressure of feeling that if you don't go to college, you're going to be a failure.
So you admit that pressures are a part of the way interests work.
Yes, but we're disagreeing on where the pressure is coming from. Like, I think that now the pressure is that if a woman doesn't enter the force, there's no longer this idea that, okay, we're going to come together as a family, whereas there was this reality that there was this understanding that you would have a partner. People were getting married when they were 18, 19 years old.
Right.
Our grandparents, now it's because of feminism. And I'm saying this is the downside of feminism. Women no longer have that sense. They think that they have to be pressured to go take out a loan to go to college, and then you have the pressure to get.
Well, they have the same pressures as men because women no longer rely on men for an income.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please.
I did like our conversation. Might have to come back to you. Hi.
Man, these motherfuckers be haul asses.
Nice to meet you. So can I explain to you why I believe we live in a patriarchy and why I believe we live in a society that's preferential to men? So I'm going to use the example of male violence. There's a lot of places I can look, but we're going to talk about that. 81% of women have been sexually assaulted. 1 in 6 have been raped. 1 in 4 women are the victims of domestic violence. 98% of perpetrators.
She seemed like she been scarred. Like she been touched or something. Like She just coming off with this type of stuff. Like, I already know what it's hitting for. Like, it's like reading the cover of a book. Like, you could just tell what's coming.
Perpetrators of rape and sexual assault are men.
Knew it.
95% of perpetrators of domestic
Knew it.
violence are men. Actually, in
Men,
regards to
men,
human trafficking,
men,
70%
men.
of human trafficking victims are women. So we're seeing a very clear issue of men being violent towards women. And then when we look at the way that our government handles that, 1 out of 3 rapes go reported. And then out of the ones that go reported, 7% end in jail.
Sometimes them rapes go unreported because the women are not going forward. They scared to look the victim in the eye, or Stockholm syndrome or something they used to call it. Like it's the court system.
Time. And 2% of rapes that are taken to jail, or that are that women go to like report a rape or whatever, 2% are false allegations.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, your disclaimer. Great. I don't mean to say rape. Great. Apologize to y'all people.
So we can't get worried about that, about false allegations. So if we're looking at that, and we're looking at the fact that our government doesn't really get that worried about male violence.
Well, so what I would say is, going back to biological differences, men are naturally inclined more towards aggression than women are. So I am not shocked by you telling me. It's, even if you looked at, like I said, male on male crime, you would see that there are more instances of men killing other men than there are instances of women killing other women. And that, I think, actually speaks to our biological differences, which is actually at the root of everything that I believe about feminism being a lie, is because they're trying to program people to believe that men and women are the same. Now, I don't think that pointing to the fact that men are more aggressive than women, which is a point that you and I 1000% agree on, whether or not that manifests in the very wrong way, men harming other men, which I think they do more probably than they are beating women, men on male violence. That manifestation doesn't change the fact that men and women are just biologically hardwired different. I think it's actually proof of that. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact of power dynamics in this country, because to the contrary, if you look at prison rates and talking about how disparities don't mean anything, the majority of overwhelming people that are in prison are male, right? There's a reason for that. So when it manifests in a good way, that male aggression, is the reason why we have men defending us, men that are willing to go to war and die for.
What's wrong with you, sis? Is you gonna go to the front line? Is you gonna go fight for us? Like, you're gonna run? What, you gonna hold a flag up there, a colorful flag, and say, "Oh, come on, let's sing in harmony"? Like, they gonna bomb us. It's like, we fight for a reason. Like, this woman is crazy.
Our nation. So aggression being an aspect of masculinity has nothing to do with the conversation of whether or not feminism is harming women today.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that
we
men
agree.
and women are biologically different.
Yes,
Men
but I don't. What I want you to connect it to is, I guess, power. Because what I'm talking about when I say that we're existing under a matriarchy is that I believe that the social pressures politically and socially that are coming, and even within our music, if we talk about Hollywood, it's very much
that
has
power
become
means nothing. Like, just because who was on the top music charts or whatever are women, okay, how many women have paid maternity leave?
Okay, that's not
like how are things
What do they keep talking about this paternity leave?
panning out in the family courts? Why are abusive men having access to their children? Like, why are women making less than men? Like, what? I mean, none of that means anything to me.
So that gap, obviously, I'm sure you've recognized the gender gap has been debunked so many times. It's almost foolish to debunk it again.
Well, you could say, yeah, that most women will go into jobs where they're making less,
Yes.
but then it does answer the question of why do we not value women's labor?
That's not valuing women's labor. It's just a reality that if you are going to be a person that aspires to become a brain surgeon, you are going to make more money than a person that aspires to do something that's, like in the household.
Can we go back to the male violence question?
Yes.
Why does our country not persecute men then who are rapists?
Well, the majority of people
Why does she keep going on with this grape stuff?
who are in prison are men. So I don't know what you mean that we don't prosecute men that are rapists. We even prosecute people.
7% go to jail. Only 7% go to jail.
I don't know what that has to do with the question of whether or not we're living in a matriarchy or a patriarchy.
Because our
If
government
there's
is
an
preferential to men.
So you're saying that they only like to arrest men when they kill someone, but our government is awarding men for raping women? I don't understand what
They're
you're
not. They don't care. Rape is effectively legal. You can literally rape a woman, and you have a very low likelihood of actually going to jail as a man.
Rape is effectively legal.
It's
She said grape is legal. Wow. Anything to win an argument.
Effectively legal. How many men are actually going to jail for rape?
I actually agree with you that in terms of sex crimes, and I don't know how you're peeling out women.
Where's
because
the
I would
other flag
again,
at?
this is
I
nothing to
just
our argument
peeped
today,
10 out of
But I would
20.
even say that
Somebody throw a
people are
flag
not
up.
being prosecuted hard enough when we're dealing with crimes against children, period.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about
100%.
sexual crimes not being prosecuted
100%.
in this country is a whole other conversation, and you will not get a disagreement with me, but I think that it's wrong to say that it's somehow attached to being a woman when you know that there are so many children that are going through the exact same thing. I mean, the light sentences that are tossed out for pedophiles, it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
guys,
terrible.
pause.
But I don't think it has anything to do with
Thank
conversation
you.
that we're having right now. But I
That's
agree
It
with
has
you.
everything to do with it, and you're separating it to make your
That's time.
Oh my
From your
God.
seat, I'm going to
It seems like feminist brains just get smaller and smaller, more emotional. She was just up there yapping. Just another yapper. ShizzBeYappin. Everybody be yapping. Why I can't be yapping?
add 5 more minutes to this claim.
Nice to meet you. So your claim is, just to be clear,
Hold on. Like, it's what? 4 males and a bunch of females, and you want to be a feminist? Why you ain't let the ladies go? Like, why you got to be so like?
that we live in a matriarchy, right?
Yes.
So I think even you'd agree that on a global level, that's obviously ridiculous when there are countries where people literally are honor killed for like Instagram posts. But even if we're talking about
Honor kill for Instagram posts. Like, where is he going at?
just the US, right? We don't have paid maternity leave. Abortion is illegal in over a dozen different states.
Here go this paid paternity leave. Like, what state y'all at? That's a state level thing. Vote the right people in and call it a day. Like,
And as someone earlier was mentioning, women are overwhelmingly the victims of sexual violence and domestic abuse. So a matriarchy to me
they keep talking this. Women are overpowered sexual. Go to the gym, buy a little, you know what I mean, pat. You know what I mean? Work on your hands, do something. Like, you know, men are more stronger, women are weaker. It's just what it is. Like, they just don't get the way the world is. They don't know basic autonomy of people and men.
that doesn't seem like a very well-designed matriarchy where women are victims or, you know, lacking power in so many different realms of society on like a structural level.
I just do not think that women are lacking power on a structural level because they can't, which they can, by the way, abort their children. Is that like one of your components? Is that
There's many states where abortion is illegal. Do you dispute that?
I am going to dispute that having a child is somehow something that restricts women in any capacity. Like you're
What
saying
about the
that.
ability to decide what you do with your own body?
I don't believe that I don't believe that murder is something that you should be allowed to
Sure,
decide.
and murder is the legal
It's actually what you're doing to somebody else's body.
Sure,
so
murder-
I'm pro-life. So
Sure.
the argument that, well, women will only be free if they're able to, you know, kill off their own offspring, to me is
Yeah,
a really
that's a really-
extremely off-colored.
Yeah, well, I guess if you frame it that way, everyone kind of has to agree with you. But when we're talking about abortion, when 99% take place in the first few weeks, when, you know, there's no thalamus, there's no cortex, there's no capacity for consciousness in the fetus that's developing, saying that that fetus that has no capacity to be conscious, aware, anything else, should have the same rights, same bodily autonomy as a woman, that is an obvious, I mean, you're making my point for me. That
You're actually
the
making the
fact
point that
make this
people
point-
who are, you know, are born with tremendous disabilities should just be killed because of cognitive
I'm sorry,
functions. and
I don't remember
ability.
saying that. When did I say that?
The best argument, which
Hold
again,
on,
this is sidetracked.
You're saying
so
that I
let's
say
get back on
you should
track.
kill people with disabilities?
Well, I'm saying that if you're saying no, I am saying that if you're saying that it's cognitive ability and at what
The
stage
ability
you
to be
think.
conscious, and just so we're clear, disabled people are conscious. They're aware.
Okay. So the best argument that it is a life is the fact that you have to kill it. You have to have a procedure to kill it, right? So you have to intervene on
Sure,
the
there's
development. Like
living
you said,
human
you called
cells in it, but
you
it's
called
not
it
conscious.
a developing life. If
Sure.
you have
What the fuck is this? I don't know.
to go into your body and murder it, then
I'm not
it's
disputing that
murder.
there's living human cells in a fetus.
Again, so
That's
we
not
can
the
we can just
question.
tack that off because we just have a fundamental disagreement on
Sure,
whether or
then
not
we can
a child
talk
is a
about
life.
paid
and I don't-
maternity
I don't
leave.
think-
People have been talking a lot about whether you have to be a mother, you have
Yes.
to work. A lot of women have to pick one or the other because in many cases, if you want to have a child, first of all, there's a big gap in your resume, so getting a job after that might be super difficult. And then secondly, even
That's false. Like, I know a lot of dudes that went to prison, came home, have 10-year gap, and got a job. Like, so come on. Like, it's the jobs they picking. Just get a job, work there for a little bit, put a 2 weeks notice and get another job. Just work your way up. Can't always get the best joint out there. Like, come on.
In the process of having that child, being pregnant, especially in the third trimester, and then raising the child, where the vast majority of the burden typically is on the mother, the workplace and our system of our economy is not tailored to make that easy for them.
I actually totally agree with you, and this gets
Paid maternity
into
leave,
this,
you agree?
this. I don't know. Actually, I'm agreeing with you that this pressure that you're describing exists for women, and I'm saying that it exists for women because of the feminists that came before who argued for women to enter the workplace. So what you're saying is the solution didn't work, and it actually produced more problems, and now we have more problems, and we need more governance to be able to tackle these problems. So you're
Any
like,
system
we
that's
need the
forcing
government-
women to make certain decisions, I just wouldn't
It's
call
not
that
forcing
feminism to
women to
begin
make-
with.
it's not
Women should have the
forcing-
option to choose, do I want to be a stay-at-home mom? Do I want to work? Do I want to have some mix of both?
Right.
That's the entire point here.
But you are also making an argument that if you are a woman who does run a business and does have employees, that they should be forced to pay them maternity leave.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so let me
That's
tell
like
you-
saying taxes are forced. Yeah, there's certain things the government does to regulate our economy to ensure equality and justice and
Okay.
better outcomes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, a female feminist or a male feminist. Like, it just don't look right or just sits with me right. It just looks weird. It's like looking at what you call them, Jones, Tiger, Jones, Ligras, whatever. It's just looking at something just so weird.
But just so you know, when you do that, like to a small business
Like every
owner,
other developed country does.
What you are arguing for is supporting big corporations and taking out the little guys because
I'm arguing for supporting people that want to be mothers and also work at the same
Right,
time. The mechanism we do that with, it can be
but
subsidies,
you guys
taxes.
can't just keep this. You can't say that we can't have we can't get down to the economics like of what it actually implies, right?
I have an economics degree, and I can tell you if there's a small business that can't afford to pay maternity leave, the
Right.
government would probably subsidize them and help
Right.
cover the costs.
Where is the government getting money from? This is
Tax revenue.
They just keep saying government, 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 government. Like, they just supposed to do everything? God damn.
I mean,
Right, exactly. So
we'll
from
see how
us,
Trump's
just
tariffs
to be
work out,
clear,
but-
from us, and this is the thing that gets me about all of these debates.
Yeah.
The magic solution that everybody has is that we just need to
It's
tax
not
the
magic.
government
Every
more.
other developed country has paid
but
maternity
no,
leave.
but it's not magic as in like
guess
the
we
money
should go
is
to these
coming.
magical countries
The money
then.
is coming from you. It's coming from us. So you're
If other countries got this, why don't you go over there? Why everybody coming to America? Like, they might have one good thing and 1,000 crazy other things. Like, it's not all great all over the place. Like, you gotta pick your poison. You out here just, Germany got this, and why we don't got this? China got this, why we don't got that? We don't got this, we don't got that. But
sitting
Yes,
here
that's how
saying,
taxes work, yeah,
Yes,
like-
we should be raising taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the entire problem is that the government is already taxing homes times two, and people are
Sure.
already struggling with what's being taken out
Well,
of
we're
their
not
taxes.
taxing capital gains properly or corporate profits
I'm sure
properly
you
or
have
high
something
income
that
properly.
there's a reason that we should be taxing more here, there.
It's an
The point is
efficiency
that the
problem. Don't
reason
you guys
why
want like government
families are
efficiency?
having
Maybe bring in more revenue to
Okay.
help women be mothers? Like,
what I'm saying is that you are just creating a cyclical argument. You're basically saying that women want to be able to have it
cynical
all.
argument.
Women cannot have it all
You hit
because the
on the
government.
nose.
choice to do what they'd like to do.
Okay, but you're saying women should have the choice to have it all. Okay, so you're
That's
saying
a really interesting way of putting like do you have it all right now where you're working
What the fuck is this? I don't know.
and you're also a mother? Is that having it all?
I'm saying that it's not possible for women to have it all. It isn't
Okay,
possible.
what do
and,
you
and,
have?
And that's
then?
one of the
Whatever
that
that is what I would want other women to have as well, which is the flexibility
Right, so
to
you-
work a job and also raise kids if they'd like.
No, but that's exactly. You guys keep arguing that what people want is more flexibility. So you're acknowledging that right now,
Mm-hmm.
with feminism on fire, we are agreeing. Women are going into
Feminism
the
on
workforce.
fire, okay.
Like I'm just kind of using a hyperbolic
Okay,
expression.
okay,
Like
okay.
feminism is everywhere.
come on, you up here nitpicking. Soft.
We are arguing that women need to have more opportunities, women need to have more rights. They've taken that. Now you have the majority of people that are graduating with college degrees are in fact women. Men are committing suicide at a higher rate than women. We're looking around the world.
Feminism also would push for like increased
Great,
awareness
fine.
of men's
We don't
mental
need
health.
to-
So like that's
fine. Great. You love feminism. That's great. We already know that.
yeah.
We get it.
Most Americans
We could tell you love feminism. Look at him. Pink tight hoodie. Oh, man.
agree with me, by the way, that like women should have.
Agree with who? I don't agree with you, so it's not the most. I can name a couple other people ain't gonna agree with you.
paid maternity leave.
culture
If you go
is
issue by
changing.
issue and by values, they might not associate with the term feminism because people like you have made it toxic, but the actual
the next
values that
thing is that you
undergird
will
feminism.
Why she made it toxic? She didn't say nothing negative about feminists. I am.
You will move
are
the
extremely
goalposts,
popular.
and then when they begin taxing so that we can account for paid maternity.
Oh, it's popular. That's why you're doing it. Ooh. Like Red always said, let people talk. They'll tell the truth. Yeah, feminist is popular. So, duh, that's why you're here, because it's popular. I get it.
Leave for 3 months, which basically means a small business owner has to not have an employee while having to pay months and months and months. Like the person's not there. They're not
If a
actually.
small business doesn't have the revenue to cover paid maternity leave, the government would probably subsidize them to make up the cost.
No, I actually think that the way things were made more sense, where we had an environment where you could afford to take care of children with just one person
you
bringing
would-
in income in the house.
Is that possible in the current environment?
You can obviously.
When things are going to
Yes, it's possible. As us black folks, we ain't have nothing. We did our thing out here. Like, come on.
get way more expensive with these tariffs as well, like it's not going to be easy to afford.
Them tariffs is not affecting you. Stop it. Just saying anything about Trump. That Trump bullshit talk. Oh, terrorists. Terror's been around since Obama and everybody else, but someone Trump said terrorists. Oh, these terrorists is killing us. These terrorists is killing us.
Anything in the coming years.
Is it going to happen overnight? No, but I think we need to be realistic about the fact that the first thing didn't work, right? The entire
What is the
argument,
first thing?
the first thing was women entering the workforce is going to make everybody happier and richer. That was the
The idea is that
pitch,
women
was the
having the
plan.
choice to enter the workforce is better than them being forced to not do that.
Okay.
That's the argument.
Okay, that actually is not the argument at all. The argument was that women would become, and I'm talking about what the feminists got ahead of, and
You
this
can
is why
debate
women,
like
women
this
need to be
imaginary
like
Twitter
men.
feminist, but like
It's
right now you're
not-
talking to me, and
it's
that's not the argument
I'm
that
not
I'm
actually
making.
debating an imaginary Twitter feminist. I'm speaking to you, and I have no
Right.
idea why you're becoming increasingly more rude when I'm just rebutting your
Because
points that you're
you're
bringing
not
up.
responding to my point.
He is being real rude. You press the button. You hit a button in this feminist. This is weird calling a guy a feminist.
I am responding to your point. I'm saying that you're creating a cyclical argument where you keep saying that the thing that you just did that you said was going to be enough. What we
Right.
actually need is for women to just enter the workforce. Oh, women are in the workforce, and
That's
actually
not
we have-
enough. I'm saying we don't have enough because we don't have
and
paid
I'm telling you
maternity
that
leave.
you're also not going to have enough because you're going to
Paid
then be
maternity
complaining when you
leave.
get that paid maternity leave.
I'm not
because
gonna
you're,
get maternity
you're, okay, well, they are arguing for family paid leave. So,
That's even better, yeah.
okay,
I
so
love that.
you might get.
Do you think
might
fathers
get
should also be
maternity leave.
around to
All
help
right,
raise
guys,
children?
pause.
in
I
early
think
years?
who's going to work if everybody goes home every time a child is
Not
born?
everyone's going to have a kid at the
Pause,
same time.
guys. Pause. All right.
Oh boy, this boy, man. This boy's tripping. Tripping. You know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, man. You know, this power, this feminist stuff, like this thing is crazy. Like, just don't get it, man. Like, just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's worse, a male feminist or female feminist. Like, the arguments was just BS. Like, I just saw all yapping. Just all yap. Paternity leave. They be hearing one argument and just ride with it without getting the fact. Like, they be in the market just like, oh yeah, I saw on the news and then such and such are not giving out this. They might be talking about it, not giving it out, but that don't mean it's necessarily true. Like, do your research and look before y'all start talking. Like, there's plenty of states that's giving out paternity leave for women. Like, I just don't get it. Like, these people are just off the hook. But again, you know, hit that like, sub, hit the comments, fill it up. You know what I'm saying? Show me some love, whatever. And I mean, let me know what y'all think about this. Boy, this joint was kind of being bad, irking me a little bit, but show a person some love. I'll let your boy ShizzBeYappin, everybody be yapping. Why I can't be yapping? Signing off.
Put me on there with having the Santa Claus.